When it comes to relationships, sacrifice from both parties is inevitable. If you don't sacrifice now, you will sacrifice later. Akua wished someone had told her this before it was too late. Once upon a time in a small village in Imo State, Nigeria, called Órógwe, there lived an elegant and charming lady called Akua. On one glance at Akua and how she carries herself with grace, one would think all is well at home, but it is indeed far from the truth. Akua's life was a struggle from the start. Born into a poor family, she was the daughter of the first wife, who had long since passed away. Her father, a polygamist with 3 wives, had never been particularly interested in Akua's well-being. The 2 younger wives, who had borne him several children, had always made it clear that Akua was not welcome in the family. As a result, Akua grew up feeling unloved and unwanted. Her father's indifference and her stepmother's cruelty had taken a toll on her self-esteem. Despite this, Akua had learned to be strong and independent, relying on herself to get by. Now, at the age of 18, Akua's life was about to take a dramatic turn. Her father had just received a proposal from Moazi Ibe, a wealthy man from a neighboring village. Moazi Ibe was looking for a young bride, and Akua's father saw this as an opportunity to get rid of his unwanted daughter. Acting like it was in her best interest, he said to her, "Don't think I haven't noticed how you feel like a stranger in your father's house. I see it. What an old man sees while sitting down, even if you stand on 1,000 Blackberries and iPhones, you can't see it. My daughter considered this as an escape from both the toxicity from these women who are now sadly my wives and the poverty that is squeezing our necks and intestines. This is your chance, take it," he said in some finality, as if her opinion didn't matter, and swaggered off to his room. The next morning, as the family gathered in the compound, Akua's father announced the proposal, making it clear that he expected Akua to accept. The 2 younger wives nodded in agreement, eager to see Akua leave the family compound. Akua, however, felt a sense of trepidation. She had never met Moazi Ibe before, and the thought of marrying a stranger was daunting. But what choice did she have? Akua's father had made it clear that she would be marrying Moazi Ibe, and that was that. As the family began to discuss the details of the wedding, Akua felt her heart sink. She was trapped, with no escape in sight. One Afar evening, Akua sat with her best friend, Oda, in the quiet shade of a mango tree. The warm sun cast dappled shadows on the ground as they spoke in hushed tones. "Akua, what's troubling you?" Oda asked, her eyes filled with concern. "You've been distant lately." Akua hesitated, unsure if she should share her secret. But Oda's kind face and gentle manner put her at ease. "It's Ikenga," Akua whispered, her voice barely audible. "I miss him so much. I fear for his safety, fighting in that war." Oda's expression turned sympathetic. "I had no idea you felt so strongly about him." Akua's eyes welled up with tears. "I love him, Oda. I've loved him since we were children. But my father would never approve of our relationship. He wants me to marry Moazi Ibe, that wealthy man from our village." Oda's face set in a determined expression. "Don't worry, Akua. Your secret is safe with me. I'll do everything I can to support you." Akua smiled weakly, feeling a sense of gratitude toward her friend. "Thank you, Oda. Just knowing that someone understands me makes me feel a little better." As they sat together in comfortable silence, Akua felt a sense of hope that she hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe, just maybe, she and Ikenga could find a way to be together despite the obstacles in their path. A few weeks later, Akua's family begins preparing for her wedding to Moazi Ibe. Akua feels trapped and unsure about her future. Akua's confusion and feelings of being trapped intensified as the wedding preparations progressed. Her father and stepmothers were ecstatic about the upcoming union, but Akua's heart was heavy. The reason for her turmoil lay in a recent event that had left her reeling. A soldier had arrived at their village, claiming to be the sole survivor of the war that Ikenga, her true love, had gone to fight in. The soldier had brought with him a gift that Akua had given to Ikenga before he departed, a delicate, handmade necklace with a small, golden pendant. The soldier's words echoed in Akua's mind, "I was the only one who escaped. I found this necklace on the battlefield, and I knew I had to return it to its rightful owner." The necklace had been a symbol of Akua's love and commitment to Ikenga. Its return now seemed like a cruel omen, a sign that Ikenga was truly gone. Akua felt torn. A part of her wanted to hold on to the hope that Ikenga might still be alive, but the return of the necklace seemed like conclusive proof of his demise. She was conflicted, unsure of what to do or how to feel. The pressure to marry Moazi Ibe mounted and Akua felt like she was drowning in a sea of uncertainty. 2 weeks later, the village was abuzz with excitement as Ikenga, the young warrior, returned home unexpectedly. He was weary and injured, but his eyes shone with joy as he recounted his tale of survival. Ikenga credited his love for Akua as the driving force that kept him alive during the war. "Her memory was my strength," he told the villagers. "I knew she was waiting for me, and that thought gave me the courage to keep going." Ikenga asked about Akua, eager to reunite with her. However, he was unable to find her, and the villagers seemed reluctant to disclose her whereabouts. The next day, Ikenga ventured into the market, hoping to catch a glimpse of Akua. As fate would have it, he spotted her amidst the bustling crowd. Akua's eyes widened as she saw Ikenga, her heart racing with a mix of emotions. She was overjoyed to see him alive, but the guilt of having accepted Moazi Ibe's proposal weighed heavily on her conscience. Ikenga, oblivious to Akua's inner turmoil, rushed towards her, embracing her warmly. "My love, I've missed you so much," he exclaimed. Akua forced a smile, unsure of how to break the news to him. As they stood there, surrounded by the vibrant market atmosphere, Akua felt torn between her love for Ikenga and the commitment she had made to Moazi Ibe. Regardless of her guilt, the old spark between them reignites, causing tension and guilt for her. Finally, the day of Akua's wedding to Moazi Ibe arrived, and the village was abuzz with excitement. Palm wine and peppered meat flowed freely. Different music and dancing groups displayed their art, and the friends of Moazi Ibe sprayed mint notes on the people who impressed them the most. Akua, however, felt like she was walking to her doom. Just as the ceremony was about to conclude, Ikenga appeared at the entrance of the venue. Ikenga's eyes locked onto Akua, and he strode purposefully towards her. "Akua, don't do this," he said, his voice firm but controlled. "You're making a mistake. We belong together." The guests gasped in shock, and Moazi Ibe's face darkened with anger. Akua's father and stepmothers rushed to intervene, trying to escort Ikenga away. But Ikenga stood his ground, his eyes never leaving Akua's face. "I understand that I was presumed dead," Ikenga continued, "but I'm alive now, and I'm not letting you go without a fight." With that, he turned and walked away, leaving the stunned guests to whisper among themselves. Unbeknownst to Ikenga, Ifoma had escaped her village and arrived at his house, waiting for him. She had risked everything to be with him, and she was determined to make him hers. Ikenga's return home was met with a surprise he hadn't anticipated, Ifeoma, waiting for him in his courtyard. His emotions were a jumbled mix of anger, guilt, and frustration. Why was Ifeoma here, risking her life and safety, when Akua had so readily given up on him? Despite his reservations and professed love for Akua, Ikenga couldn't deny the sacrifice Ifeoma had made. He decided to hide her in the underground room, where he kept his most precious belongings, to keep her safe as she refused to return home, and should she be found by the villagers, they'd seek revenge by killing her as retaliation for the severe loss at the war with her people from Umutipen. Meanwhile, Oda had been watching from afar, her curiosity piqued. She discovered Ifeoma's presence and quickly ran to tell Akua, hoping to dissuade her from leaving her husband for Ikenga. "Akua, I have something to tell you," Oda said, her voice low and urgent. "Ikenga, the man you're considering leaving your husband for, has a woman hidden away in his underground room. She's from the neighboring village, and he brought her back as one of his many spoils from the war. Are you even aware of this?" Akua's reaction wasn't what Oda had expected. Instead of being deterred, Akua felt a surge of jealousy and possessiveness. She began to contemplate running away from her marriage even more, determined to claim Ikenga's heart as her own. Akua was very confused. She didn't know what to do. She loved Ikenga, but she was married to Moazi Ibe. Every day, she thought about Ikenga and wished she could be with him. One day, Ikenga came to see Akua. He looked very sad. "Akua, why did you marry Moazi Ibe?" he asked. "I thought we were going to be together forever." Akua looked down at her feet. "I thought you were dead," she said. "My family said I had to marry Moazi Ibe." Ikenga's face was very sad. "You should have waited for me," he said. "You heard I died today, and the next week, you're getting married to the man you don't even know his middle name. You know I would have come back to you. I made that promise to you when I was leaving. I don't go back on my promise. Not even death can stop me. You know." Akua felt bad. She knew she shouldn't have married Moazi Ibe. But now it was too late. Just then, Akua's family came. "Ikenga, go away," they said. "You're causing trouble to a happy home." Moazi Ibe also came. "Akua, forget about Ikenga," he said. "You're my wife now. My property. I own you." Akua didn't know what to do. She loved Ikenga, but she was married to Moazi Ibe. She felt very sad and confused. She wished she could go back in time and make different choices. But now it seemed like it was too late. It seemed she had entered one chance. Akua's family and Moazi Ibe were very angry with Ikenga. They told him to leave and never come back. That day, Ikenga started reconsidering his love for Akua. "She's married already. Lawfully too," he told himself. "One man can't fight the community. A human being is not a commodity in the market. Akua has a heart of her own like every other human." She took her decision, even though it was under duress, but she played her part too. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Akua was torn between her love for Ikenga and her duty to Moazi Ibe. She didn't know what to do. She felt like she was stuck in a big problem. Ikenga tried to convince Akua to leave Moazi Ibe and be with him. But Akua was scared. She didn't know what would happen if she left her husband. As the sun began to set, Ikenga knew he had to leave, and that he did. Akua smiled weakly to herself as she watched him saunter off like the soldier he is, hoping that Ikenga would come back and rescue her from her unhappy marriage which she got herself into. Weeks after Ikenga left, Akua didn't hear any commotion at the gate. No one had reported any fight between Ikenga and her family or the family of her husband. Akua felt a pound of sadness. She knew she had made a mistake by marrying Mazi Ibe. She hoped that Ikenga would forgive her and give her another chance. Akua's family and Mazi Ibe were still very angry with Ikenga. They told Akua that she had to forget about Ikenga and focus on her marriage. Her husband had reported to them how she mentions Ikenga's name whenever they are drilling oil in her backyard. But Akua couldn't forget about Ikenga. She loved him too much. Akua, determined to claim Ikenga's heart, arrived at his house while he was away. She found Ifeoma and, fueled by jealousy and rage, demanded that Ifeoma leave. Akua threatened to expose Ifeoma's presence to the entire village, but Ifeoma dared her to speak, warning that Akua would lose her marriage. "So you'll happily sacrifice your life to ruin my marriage?" "No, I'll sacrifice my life happily to keep the man of my dreams," Ifeoma said, making faces at Akua. Akua, knowing what Ifeoma implied, jumped on Ifeoma and a huge fight between the love-drunk women ensued. In the heat of the fight, Akua fell to the ground, losing her pregnancy. The news of the brawl reached Mazi Ibe, Akua's husband, who arrived with his men and brutally beheaded Ifeoma. It was a terrible sight to behold. The cowardly Mazi Ibe presented Ifeoma's head to the Igwe as a spoil of war, reigniting the flames of conflict between the villages. The men of Umutipen, Ifeoma's kingdom, sought revenge, descending upon Akua's village and leaving destruction in their wake. They killed many, including Ode's husband and Akua's family. The village was ablaze, the sounds of clashing steel and screams filling the air. Ada, Akua's friend and confidant, was also brutally killed in the chaos. Just as all seemed lost, Ikenga appeared, his eyes blazing with a fierce determination. The spirit of his ancestors coursed through his veins, guiding his actions. With a battle cry, Ikenga charged into the fray, his sword slicing through the enemy ranks. His fighting skills, honed in the war, proved deadly as he cut down anyone who stood in his way. One by one, the enemy warriors fell, until finally, Ikenga stood victorious amidst the carnage. Yes, it was a devastating carnage. The village was silent once more. The only sound audible was the heavy breathing of the lone survivor, Ikenga. As the dust settled, Ikenga surveyed the devastation around him. His eyes fell upon Akua, who lay wounded but alive nearby. He rushed to her side, cradling her in his arms. In the end, only two people remained, Ikenga, the soldier who had returned, and Akua, the woman he loved. The tragic events had cleared the path for them to be together, but at what cost? Ikenga tells her he no longer wants her. Tells her she should learn from his sacrifice and that of Ifeoma, who was willing to do everything to be with him. Akua picks up a sword and runs it into her belly. As she fell to the ground, she mumbled to him, "My love, have I learned now? Is this sacrifice enough for you?" Ikenga kneels close to her, not knowing what just happened. Why then did he fight, both the war to protect his people and the fight to return? Why did he fight just now? He realized that in war, you can be victorious and still be the most defeated. He turns her limp body face down and uses his finger to touch the tip of the sword that came out from her back. He falls on it. He coughs. He coughs some more and stretches. Stretches some more, and breathes his last. This story teaches us that when love is involved, there has to be sacrifice thrown into the mix. If you don't sacrifice now, you'll sacrifice later, and the weight of that sacrifice might just be too much to bear. Akua's hasty decision to marry Mazi Ibe, her failure to wait for Ikenga, and her ultimate sacrifice serve as a perfect reminder that true love demands patience, loyalty, and the willingness to let go of pride and fear. In the end, Ikenga and Akua's love story became a tragic tale of what could have been, a bittersweet reminder that sometimes, even the greatest loves can be destroyed by the very sacrifices we make for them.